Hey, welcome on into Courtside. I'm your host, Courtney Webb, and this is a digital series about QVC entrepreneurs. And we have a new member to our QVC family, Mr. Andrew Suzuka from Otamot. Welcome on in.
Hey, how you doing, Courtney? Nice to see everybody.
Doing well. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us real quick, you created this brand. Tell us how to pronounce it for some of us if we haven't seen it before.
Right, it's Otamot. I mean, I say Otamot. It's tomato spelled backwards.
Awesome.
I started it really to help my daughter eat more vegetables. It was as simple as that. It wasn't intended to be a business. It's really one of those things that just becomes an accidental business. I just wanted to make her one meal, one healthier meal one night. And I was just grabbing leftover veggies that I found that were reddish in color. And and we made pizza sauce. And she really liked it. And just the truth of that was really one level deeper is the sauce initially came out a little pink because I put too many carrots and too many beets in it. And so to trick her or to have her still eat that meal was I had to turn the lights down. And the lights down just made it into a fun little thing. Oh, let's make pizza in the dark. And then once you throw the cheese on, you bake it. It just you don't know what's under it. And then she loved it. She said, "Dad, I want more." And then a little light bulb went off. I said, if she liked it, why not other people?
Oh my goodness. So Otamot, now a new brand on QVC.com. You can definitely shop it in a set of 4. They come in jars. Now tell me what it is exactly, because you mentioned, there they are, perfect, that you used it as a tomato sauce, but really there's such a plethora of ways that you could use this.
Right. So the nice thing about it is it's a really thick sauce. So because we have so many vegetables in it, 10 organic vegetables, from the sweet potatoes to the squash. Of course, it has to taste like a delicious tomato sauce, but it's really important that you get a round coloring or round variety of all these other vegetables are in the sauce. And so when you look at it, and this was really important to me, like if you're proud about what's in your sauce, like put it on the front. So when you see all these different vegetables and peppers and butternut squash, etc., by doing that, it allows us to make a really thick, nutrient-dense sauce, which is really thick and hearty as well. So it's really filling, which allows you to do a whole bunch of different things. So it's not like your normal watery, loose sauce. It's a pretty thick one. I'd say between a typical watery tomato sauce and a paste, and it just sticks really well to food. You can make hummus. It sits well on chicken parm. You can do pizzas. I started making stews recently with just chickpeas and some black beans and then some Otamot, some onions and oil. And it just tastes really great. And I feel good when I eat it.
Well, and so we have Diana watching right now. She just said it looks delicious. And I will say I've had it myself and it is so good. My husband and I have made it in a tomato soup and then we ate it with grilled cheese sandwiches. So there's really so much you can do with it. If anyone is watching right now and has questions of maybe how to purchase this, you can go to QVC.com. But also if you have questions for Andrew, he's the creator of this amazing brand. So just know, ask away. We're here to listen and you can just comment below. So Andrew, you were a big foodie before you actually did this. Is that right? Like you kind of were into foods and kind of playing around and tasting and trying new things already.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really started when I was a kid. I actually found this for you guys. I started my first food business when I was a kid.
Good.
Into advertising, but I think I was probably about 10 years old when I made this. And I found, and I just printed it. This is a copy of my first recipe menu, actually, for my neighbors, of chocolate chip cookies that I had made. So $2, you notice it's $2.50 if you want the large chocolate chip. So I always loved feeding people and then and cooking in the kitchen. I remember I had my one story my mom tells a lot is I was making pasta from scratch when I was a kid, and I would take my 2 lacrosse sticks and I would lay the pasta across the sticks when I was younger. Pizzas, I always loved making pizzas. I still found some old recipe. I had my first pizza book from maybe when I was 10, 11, or 12 downstairs in the kitchen. And yeah, I mean, even through when I was as an adult, I had at one point 6 barbecues in my backyard. And I asked my wife, I said, I was like, honey, can I really want this other one? I really want the 7th one, this ceramic one, right? And she just looks at me like she's going to kill me. And I was like, all right, I get it. So, and then I found that people will buy anything on Craigslist. So I went on Craigslist, I sold 4, I made room, and I offset some of the costs for the new one. So yeah, I've always been into food. My sister, my family, my dad are in the restaurant industry here in New York City. And so we've all been just surrounded with food. Holidays are a lot of fun. You get everything from sushi to German food to all different kind of all. It's a big goulash, so it's a lot of fun eating at the holidays with us.
Well, and it sounds like you were an entrepreneur from the get-go. I mean, even from putting your grills on Craigslist and then taking the money and putting it towards maybe a possibly new grill. So take me to that. Have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? What were you doing before you decided to get into making Otamot?
Right. So I think it really came honestly from my dad. So my mom and dad are two very polar opposites in terms of their personalities, and I just got kind of I'm the mutt in the middle. So my mom has been at the same job, and she recently retired 50 years trying to cure sickle cell anemia. So she's just worked in research for so long here in the city. And so my dad has been that serial entrepreneur that met her at the hospital, but then soon started a construction company and then started the restaurant business and this and that. So he's always doing something. And he used to bring me around to his different jobs when he was in construction, doing roofs or patios, whatever it was, and always would drag me around, and I would do the invoices for him and everything. So I think entrepreneurialism is ingrained in me as a kid. When I was in college, I went to school here in New York City at NYU, and I started my first marketing and promotions company back as a junior in college. So that was really the start of it. I wanted to help companies reach college students, and my first client was Blue Man Group, which is a pretty popular show here, right? Now it's in Vegas.
Yes, I was like, is that the one that I am aware of?
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. So I used to always get tickets and bring friends along, and they would joke with me at the wedding, like anytime Andrew calls you, he's gonna put you to work. And he's gonna come and hang out, and then next thing you know, you're carrying around boxes of flyers. So it was really, there's always been something, but food is always, I always dreamed of like, if I can do a job that was in food and bring this entrepreneurial spirit to the place, it would be really a dream come true. And honestly, with Q's help, it's been that. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of learning, and a lot of fun too.
Well, I will say, because we are having, Diana's asking, how do we order? That item number, if you want to go look for Otamot on QVC.com, is M67516. And you have two different types. Well, actually, a couple of flavors. Tell us those flavors while we have you here right now.
Right. So this essential sauce this was our hero product. This was really what started it all. And so we're just very transparent. Otamot, tomato, the word backwards, it really came about like, if you're proud about what's in it, just put the ingredients on the front. Why do you try to put a famous face or any of that kind of stuff? Like, just put what's in your food right on the front there, right? No preservatives, no junk. And then I thought, you know what, we got to do something different. Like, this is a different kind of sauce, and one that people really get hooked onto. And I thought about, well, Bolognaise is a big thing, and more people are going plant-based, or they're doing a day a week where they're just doing, meatless Fridays or whatever it is, meatless Mondays here in the city. And so we came out with a Bolognese sauce. So if you look at this, it's a very similar sauce, except this one has hundreds or thousands of pieces of very finely minced carrots. So you get that texture, that filling texture of a Bolognese, except it's not protein based. It's not meat. It's carrots, mini carrots. So really another fun sauce. I actually make carrot cake with this, which is really fun.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. You can make some really great recipes. There's recipe guides on QVC on our QVC page. There's a downloadable PDF link. You just go there, and it's really based on an old school Campbell's tomato soup cake recipe that used tomato soup in one of their cakes. So, and it came out really great. I'm just lucky that my family's really into cooking. So I bothered my sister Kim. I'm like, Kim or Brian, I'm like, hey, can you guys help me come up with, like, I want this or that? And then they're just very creative. They make croutons with this stuff. They'll make, really anything,
wow.
All sorts of fun things. So it's really cool to be able to work with your family, to cook and to eat, and just be able to, and then you just read the responses that people have that actually try your sauce, and you're just like, it's kind of a mind trip to think that I really just was giving this to my daughter. We only launched a year ago, but to think that like people tonight, tomorrow night, yes, last night have been eating, enjoying it for dinner, and then you get these random emails from people in the middle of the day, middle of the night, and it's just like really nice, like people of all ages and all types and just everywhere, or phone calls that we'll get from people like that are just, and then they want to buy for their grandkids, or they want to treat their daughters or whoever it is, and it's just like, wow, like, so doing something that matters is something that's really fulfilling. So it's a pretty cool feeling, and I just want to keep it up.
Well, and also, just like you said, I feel like you're kind of speaking to why you wanted to bring this to QVC, because this is a new product at QVC and also new for you. You said you just launched a year ago. Tell me what it was like to bring this to the QVC customer and to those, I mean, literally hundreds of millions of people have the opportunity now to be aware of this and to try it. So what does that mean to you to be on QVC?
Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing. The first time I actually met QVC was at a food show called the Summer Fancy Food Show back in June. I believe it was in June of last year. And I see this crew walking around, this crew of people, a bunch of friends. And one of them I learned later was Alberti, because he's a personality.
Oh, yeah.
You remember. You're like, I honestly wasn't watching too much Q before that, but then I realized, wait a minute. Later on, I connected the dots, and then Alberti was, and then we were joking on the show the other day. Hey, Alberti, I remember you, and he's like, I didn't know you were going to remember that, but it's not someone you forget. So Alberti and my friend Diane, who's worked with Q a lot, finds great companies and products. She happened to introduce us to the team over there. And it was just it's been really fun. I mean, the first day, I promise, I was out to dinner with friends, and I had my training with Q. I think it was back in December. Uh-huh. And I remember after the dinner, I had to go drive down. I decided I don't want to be late for my training, my studio training.
Yeah.
So I stayed at some Airbnb in Pennsylvania. And I remember just driving down and feeling so excited and appreciative. I just blasted the music, was leaving the city, like, here I go into QVC land, And it's been so much fun. And I also remember being, when it was actually showtime in January, being on the show with Kirsten, being like really nervous, right? Because it's like first time, and it's nothing. Just pretend you're just talking to one person. No, it's not that easy. Not at first. And so, but I somehow, and I love how you guys post all the shows on YouTube, and so people can always go back and you watch. And at first, you don't want to watch it yourself on TV, and then I try to learn. I try to learn with each and every show. But it's been so great, and just to be able to share the product with so many, like you mentioned, hundreds of millions of people. That's the part that's like just so great, and especially people that in this day and age, and they just want to be home, and they just want things like good stuff delivered to them, and being able to be a part of that ecosystem. It feels really cool. It feels great.
So what would you give as advice to someone who is thinking about wanting to try to create something, whether it's out of maybe something they've already created and they've been using it on their own and didn't even know others would really like it? I mean, what would your advice be to somebody else who's like, should I try to do this and create something? I mean, what was your step from, I created it for my daughter, and then now all of a sudden you're bottling it and you're selling it in sets of 4 and you're on QVC?
Yeah, it's been, and having no commercial, I cooked for my family. Maybe I could cook for 20 people, or we'd do a barbecue in the park for like 40 of us or whatever, but like that's kind of the limit, right? I had no idea how to put what we're making in my kitchen into this jar, let alone make 100 or 200,000 jars in 1 or 2 days. Like, that's just it. I had to learn it. So you just learn to be really humble, ask a lot of questions, and if you're trying to do the right thing, I've found that people will just introduce you to other people, and you got to also be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Don't feel bad about asking 3 or 4 or 5 times if there's someone out there that can help you, right? Yeah. And that has the experience. And I think so many other entrepreneurs have been through the similar steps, and so when you find people that have been in your shoes 5, 10, 30 years ago, whenever it is, and they can relate to you, or they can relate to the hustle, or relate to the 3 a.m. emails, and they're like, oh, this guy Andrew, like, let me get him off my case, whatever it is. But they support you, and it's really nice. And that's, what would I say my long-term goal would be to do the same for somebody else, right? Like, I don't know everything, I'm still learning, but if I can find someone else that has the fire, that wants to do something like this or anything. I was on a phone call with a friend today, and he was telling me, Brent, and he was telling me, Andrew, I want to do something creative. Like, I'm getting tired. I sell real estate here in the city, and that's really slow. And we were those kind of conversations get me so fired up, because there's so many things he can do. He does videos. He's been shooting stuff and editing things. And I'm like, well, how about A, B, C, and D? And so we'll do another call tomorrow. And it's just being able to support other people that want to get out there and follow a passion, because when you wake up, you have to have you just have to be excited about that day. And when you go to sleep, you have to be like really annoyed that you have to go to sleep. Like, I don't like to sleep, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm crazy, but there's so much to do every single day, not just for yourself, for other people, and to grow a business and whatever it is. I'm just excited about life. So sleep is really annoying. And I guess you know that you found something that you love if you feel that way.
I wish that I could say sleep is really annoying. I would just kill for a couple more hours.
Oh yeah, when you're in the moment, sure. You know, it's like, oh, it's 6, 7, whatever it is in the morning. You're like, all right, maybe that's snooze. Just give me another minute of snooze. But
I know what you mean, though.
But it's like passing out is what I call it a lot of times. Until my wife kills me, she's like, "Come to bed," you know.
Yeah, well, and I feel like as soon as I hit the bed is when my mind starts getting ideas, and I start like thinking and being creative, and I start being like, "Oh, I should write that down." And my husband's like, "How many times did you roll over and write on that notepad before you fell asleep?" I'm like, I don't know, maybe like 7 times.
Yeah, those are great. You need a notepad. The best thing is a blank piece of paper. It really is, right? And it's even better than a phone, because the phone, you get distracted. You're like, oh, let me check this like video out on YouTube, whatever it is. The blank piece of paper, I mean, I always have them. I mean, here's my blank sheets, you know, and I make one for every day. So I'll start my day out and just whatever I didn't get to, this was today's list. And, you know, you kind of got to just chip away at it. And whatever you don't get done, you got to get it done at some point. So, but yeah, I think the advice would be to just keep pushing. Don't let anyone, there's going to be a lot of people that say you can't do it. It took us, honestly, 50 no's. We went through 50 no's. I went through 50 no's to find a company, a factory that would make the sauce, because it's a pain in the butt to make the sauce. I get it. You know, there's 10
Get all those vegetables.
Yeah, it's a lot of vegetables. You have to source it from all over. It's organic. There's no junk in it. We don't cut any corners, and no one wanted to do it. No one wanted to do it. And then I finally found someone, and they said sure. And then that was kind of the start of everything. And then we found another factory that was bigger that helped us go organic and bring it to consumers and queue to even cheaper. So that was when it started to get it really exciting for me.
So I really appreciate that you just shared that story, because I think a lot of people, we don't always hear the amount of no's that somebody received before they got the opportunity. And so I guess I would ask you, how did you keep hearing no 50 times and keep saying, I still feel like I need to be doing this. I still feel like I need to be doing this. I mean, what was it? A gut feeling? Was it just this constant reminder, or a sign happened, you know, every 50 times? Tell me your experience.
Yeah, really the thing that kept resonating with me was seeing that my daughter just loved the sauce, right? So she loved it, and I knew that I was doing something for her and my family. And the fact that my wife didn't kick me out of the house and the door would always, you know, work with the keys, you know, just joking. But honestly, like, if your family supports you, you need your family support to do this kind of stuff, right? It's not something you can do on your own, because family is everything. And without them, I wouldn't, you know, if they weren't into this, I wouldn't be into it either. But they are, and that means the world to me. That enables me. That helps me. Now, she's not out there packing boxes and doing all that kind of stuff. She's like, you do that, you know.
Yeah, that's your thing.
That's your thing, right? That's your thing. But you have to. The thing that would always get me was when people would say no, and really, I would take that as a motive, like a really big motivation. If someone doesn't think you're going to do something, and they're like, oh, you can't be a professional athlete. You were never that before, right? And so, really? Okay. All right. Yep. Well, I'll see you in a year. Okay. You're not going to, you know, do this. And so those people are, you know, it's the ones that I guess that they motivate you, but they don't realize that they're motivating you. And you just have to, I don't dwell on it, but it's definitely a little extra X factor to keep me going. And the other thing is, that I would share with you is that, launching a business doesn't mean you have to go all in and give up everything else. Meaning, I get it. Everyone has a job. You have to pay the bills. Guess what? You want to know something? I have a 9 to 5. Okay. This is my 5 to 9. Okay. This is my 5 to 9. So you have the 9 to 5, and you take care of the people you need to take care of 9 to 5, and your business and your family, and you pay those bills. And if you want to do something, and if you want to launch a business, well, you should be wide awake at 10 o'clock at night to do that, right? Because you're saying you love to do this, and this is what you want to do. Well, while everyone's sleeping, what are you doing, right? Are you going to hustle while they sleep, or are you just going to sleep? So, you just got to kind of work it.
It's so true. I appreciate, one, that you are doing your 9 to 5 and doing that also. I think that speaks volumes, because I think a lot of us, we think, okay, I have to give up and do or. I can't do the and. I have to do this one, or I have to do that one. And so to hear that there's moments in your life, and there's going to be seasons where you have to do it all at once if you wanted to bring it to fruition.
And be a husband and be the best dad you can be. You juggle. And everyone juggles. Everyone has different things. People might have to take care of their families more. People have this going on. People might have 3 jobs out there. Yeah. But if you have something that you really believe in, then it's not gonna feel like work. It might be stressful at times, and you might have to juggle, and you might say, oh shoot, how am I gonna get everything done today? And you just have to work. You work through it. But if it's something that in your gut, that and here's the one thing, is that if you gave it a shot and it didn't work, you're still going to feel great 10 years later that you gave it a shot, right?
I agree with that.
If you don't give something a shot and 10 years go by, then you're always going to say, I wish. You know what? If this isn't going to work, at least I gave it my all, right? At least I laid it all out there. Like I'm trying. I'm going to hustle hard and do my best here. And then when you get those, and then when slowly and more and people start to appreciate what you're doing, and they thank you, and you don't even know them, and they're talking to you on the phone, and they're like, so and so, and I have this problem, and I never liked veggies. I'm 80 years old, never liked veggies in my life, and you're just like, wow, that's amazing. Like these things that when you can touch people in those kind of ways, it's like, whoa, that was pretty cool. I mean, the fact that my daughter loves this, and I know it's really great for her, like that's all I needed. The fact one other person likes it, the fact that 2 other people like it, it's all a cherry on top. So I swear, I can't complain. The fact that she has plenty of sauce to go for a few years, and we're okay. Everything else is just the cherry on top, honestly. So you got to just set yourself up that way. You got to keep working that job, make sure the bills are paid, take care of everyone else and everything else in your life, and then keep working it. And one day maybe it becomes the 5 to 9 becomes a 9 to 5. Who knows, right? I mean, that's so true. You just got to keep on working it.
So you mentioned you're a dad, you're a husband, you've got your 9 to 5, and you've got Otamot, which you can purchase on QVC.com if you're watching and you're still wondering, wait, where do I get it? Go to QVC.com, type in item number M67516. There they are. There's a couple of versions. Tell us those 2 versions real quick, and then tell us how you do all that you do during your day.
Right. So this is the essential sauce. This is this was our hero product, the first one that we came out with, 10 organic veggies. This is a carrot bolognese. Okay. It's very similar, except we didn't put spinach in this one. There's a little bit of spinach in this one, and we took it out of this. So this one has 9 organic veggies in here, but has thousands of minced mini carrots in here. Right.
But it's going to taste like tomato sauce.
Oh yeah, it's going to taste like a tomato sauce, and it's going to be a little more hearty. It's really great for a chili, for a stew. But they're both going to taste like great tomato sauces, and you can play with them. This is called an essential sauce because we want you to play with it. I don't want to load it with garlic or anything like that. You can do that. If you want to put basil in it, you put basil in it. If you want to make it spicy, make it spicy. So it's a very great base for whatever you want to do with it. All right. And then in terms of just doing everything, I mean, have some extra coffee. Yeah, I mean, it's really about organization and communicating with people. So just doing the best you can. If you promise you're going to get something done in a certain time frame or a certain day, do everything you can to make that happen. And if not, shoot a quick note. Hey, it's going to be an hour late, 2 hours late, whatever it is. And you have to have a great team. At my 9 to 5, I work at a company called Bayard Advertising, Bayard, Bayard. We do recruitment, marketing for a lot of big companies. And I have a really great team in finance that helps me every single day. We have our 9:30 a.m. Skype calls. So you just keep the trains running there, and then when it's dinner time, you turn off, you spend time with the family, you do that. You just kind of really segment your days. And then, and then I have a great team on the sauce side. I have a really great team. I have my director of ops, Dan, who's my best friend from growing up. I was lucky enough to hire him. So he's dealing with all this stuff during the day. We have our PR team, our marketing team, all these kind of things. So You just surround yourself with good people, hardworking people, and people that you can trust, and you can do it all. You can do a lot. You can do more. I mean, it's impossible to do this all myself. I don't do this. I mean, I have an amazing wife. She takes care of the kids. She's now a wife and, taking care of the kids. She's a school teacher, the whole 9 yards, right? Like holding down the house while I'm upstairs, holding down the work side of things. So, from home to business to my Otamot endeavor, you can't do it if it's just you.
Well, Ann, I really liked that you just said communicate, because I think a lot of us forget that communication can actually mean like, hey, this is going to be late, or hey, I cannot deliver this at this time. It's going to have to be at that time. And there's usually, most people, if you communicate that in advance, are open to that. And I think that we just need to trust people and communicate with them. And I think that will make a lot of our lives a little bit easier for sure.
Right, because some people might be depending on this. And look, I'm not always the best because I might be juggling 2 things, right? Or 3.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I might forget, and it's like, oh shoot, and I just try to do the right thing. Just always try to do the right thing. Always help each other out, and do what you love, right? I mean, I love my 9 to 5. I love my 5 to 9. Love the family, and some days are trickier, some days are tougher. Some days you're juggling more, some days you can actually breathe. And I think the other thing is also making sure you're taking care of yourself. Right. As an athlete, how important that is. Right. Yeah. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody. So make sure you're eating right, making sure you're exercising as much as possible. So key these days, and it's harder. I get it. And just doing anything you can to stay mentally and physically sharp. Just helps you overall accomplish more than other people might think is possible.
It's true. Don't run faster than you can. I think that's something that I always stick with. Do what you can right now, and there's some days you're going to be stronger, and that's perfectly fine. So I definitely appreciate that advice too. Well, real quick, shopqvc.com for Otamot. If you have not already, try it. Remember, we've got an extended return policy for you to try it. But if you have any other words for us, Andrew, before we sign off, maybe anything we need to know or something exciting or just some words of advice before we sign off?
We have something really awesome coming out in July. It's not a sauce, all right? But I will bring it to Q first, and I'm super excited. It's super nutritious, it's super delicious, and it's going to turn another category upside down. So hang in there. I'm working on that at about 1 to 3 in the morning, okay? But it's coming along. And I'm super excited. So we're looking at hopefully a July, 2 more months to put that out there. And it's something that was inspired by my kids. It's something that they eat and love. And I just feel like we can do something different and make it healthy and delicious. So got it. It's almost there.
Ooh, you heard it here. Sneak peek. Well, how can we follow you in the journey? We know we can shop QVC.com, but do you have social pages that we can follow and support the brand?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, our biggest one is Instagram, and anytime that we're on the queue, we always post on Instagram. So if you look up Otamot Foods, so Otamot Foods, tomato backwards, and then FOODS, Otamot Foods on Instagram is probably the best way to go. We have a Facebook page as well, facebook.com/Otamot Foods. Our website, you can sign up for newsletters, but Instagram's probably the best. We put lots of recipes up there. We post any events that are happening and things like that. So that's probably the easiest.
Okay, sounds good. Well, Andrew, thank you for taking the time and telling us your story, and we are looking forward to July. How exciting.
Yeah, thank you so much, Court. I'll see you guys later. Thank you.
All right, bye. Thank you.